Hey folks, John Strosa from Strosa Legal Nurse Consulting, and I wanted to quickly jump and talk to you a little bit about interpreters. Um, Sometimes when you have a defense medical exam, you might need an interpreter because the client may not speak English as their first language or may not speak English at all, like not a lick of English. Okay, so there will be an interpreter who is really unbiased, even though the interpreter is not hired by, but is paid by the opposite side, the defense, but they really don't know anything about the client or the case or anything. So I consider them really to be unbiased. Um, they're just sent by their agency. They don't know who the person is or whatever. Um, so this interpreter needs to have a certification number, okay, that shows um, an expiration date, okay? Um, and I haven't been so good at actually requesting them to show me their badge or their expiration date, but I'm going to do it, ever since last week when I found this out that I'm going to talk about you. I haven't had any interpretation needed, but the next time I will, and subsequent times I will ask for the expiration number because I found out that many of these interpreters have only passed the written test and they have a provisional number, certification number, and they have 2 years from that date to do their oral exam, or else they lose that number and they have to start from scratch. And I've heard from this, in the last interpreter I had last week, we were talking about how some are not very qualified, in my opinion. I've had to help them many times. They've asked me, hey, what's the word for this in Spanish? And I'm like, it's this, it's not that hard. Or they're not really interpreting the way they should. An interpreter should interpret exactly what is being said. So when the doctor says something, they need to interpret exactly verbatim, not explain what he said or what he might have meant, and vice versa, right? So a lot of times when it's in Spanish, I always make sure. Sometimes I'll say, oh, actually, she said this and this. She didn't say that. And the interpreter will be like, oh, yeah, that's right, yeah, or whatever, right? So that's a plus for me because I know what's happening. But when it's another language, I have no idea, right? I've had Korean, Chinese, Russian, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, obviously, and like 2 or 3 different Armenians. I don't know what the nuances are there or what the difference is between like Eastern Armenian and other Armenian. I know that um, some are more Arab influenced, like from Lebanon, or some are from more Russian Armenian. So I don't know if there's any difference in the actual Armenian, but I know that the office has requested a specific type, like Eastern Armenian or Russian Armenian, you know? But anyway, most of them need a certification number. I know that some don't. For example, when I had an Italian and a Portuguese interpreter, they told me, oh, I don't have a certification number. It's not needed for this. And then I had to, before we went in, I had to call and make sure, and research it. And in fact, yeah, you don't need a certification for certain languages. I don't know what the reason is. I don't think it's wise in my opinion, but anyway, that's the fact. But for most of them, you need to have somebody with their certification number and an expiration date. So I was made aware last week by my Spanish interpreter. We were talking about how some are incompetent, and she was telling me, yeah, some of them, they only passed their written test, but they haven't done their um, oral test. And after 2 years, they still haven't done it, but they still keep working with that number that is expired after the 2 years, but they don't tell people. And people like me that don't check um, the expiration date wouldn't know. So now that I know, I'm going to ask them to show me their badge and their expiration date every time going forward. Because let me tell you why. Sometimes I think that the case might be thrown out because the interpreter was not certified at the time for this med legal case, and they might say, oh, this is not a certified interpretation, it's not valid, I'm throwing it out, and it might hurt the client's case and they might have to do it again. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just, if any of you are starting to do DMEs or are looking to do defense medical exams or or already are doing it like me and don't check the expiration dates, I think it's important to start doing so, and those are the reasons. Okay, they may not be fully certified, and it might just be a waste of time in the long run. Maybe it won't even come up as an issue later if it goes to trial or whatever. It may not come up, but it may come up, right? And since I was just in court a couple of weeks ago, I know that things can happen. You know, even when you don't know they're going to happen, they can call you after a year or 2 years or more to testify as an expert witness or a rebuttal witness or whatever. So just giving you some info that I just found out. And the two um, ones that this interpreter told me about are hub and core. H-U-B, hub. I don't know what it stands for. And then core, C-O-R-E. And these are two accrediting bodies, or not accrediting bodies, many certifying bodies that certify interpreters. I think it's important to find out when you ask them, hey, what's your name and your certification number so I can put in my report. They'll tell you my name is ta-da-da, and here's my badge. Sometimes, a lot of them just give me the badge and I copy the information. But some of them just will tell me, oh, it's 500119 or whatever. You know, it's 6 numbers usually. And I haven't been checking the expiration date, but I'm going to now because of what I just learned. And I actually researched this after she told me a couple of days ago. I just went online and researched, and in fact, these two bodies, they don't give a certification number that lasts for 5 years or whatever. It's just a provisional, and within 2 years, if the interpreter has not taken their oral exam, this number expires and they have to start from scratch. So it's important to know what the expiration date is and note it in your report and ask them. If it's expired, in fact, you can't go forward, okay? You have to just call the attorney, hey, I have this interpreter, the expiration date is expired. What do you want me to do? Should we go forward? And they'll probably say, oh no, we can't go forward. You know, we have to cancel, and you know, we'll arrange or whatever, okay? So I think it's important to know that fact. I just found out about it, like I said, but I wanted to let you know about it, okay? Anyway, that's just another thing. If you have any other questions about defense medical exams or DMEs, let me know. I don't know everything, but I keep learning every day, and I really love the work, okay? I am just driving to my 4th DME today, and I'm almost there. Yeah. And I just wanted to jump here and tell you about what I found out about interpretation and certification numbers and expiration dates, and about hub and core. Okay? Have a great day. God bless you guys. And as always, be healthy, be happy.